Howdy, y'all. Mr. Google here, with Griffin, via cellular phone. Say hi, Griffin. I saw this movie yesterday, Griffin. It's called Evil Dead.
But this was supposed to be like one of the best horror movies in the past 10 years.
Oh, supposed to be? Supposed to be the best horror movie in the past 10 years? Oh, I'm Griffin.
Okay.
But Griffin, the reason why... Shut up, Griffin. Shut up. Shut up, Griffin. Alright, Griffin. The reason why I asked you on here is for you to give me tips on how to control my anger, control it, during my reviews, because, you know, I can get heated sometimes. I get heated, you know, people know this. And that's why some people just hate my reviews and they don't pay attention to me at all. I hate you guys. Yeah, what are your tips?
Okay, well, here's one idea. Just pretend that you saw... Just pretend that Aubrey Plaza was the main character in this movie.
I don't want to imagine that, because this movie was awful!
Okay, that's true. So in that case, just imagine Chelsea Handler was on screen the whole time.
That would make it worse!
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Chelsea Handler?
Okay, just pretend that Alan Gunn also didn't like this movie.
Guess that would help a little bit. Then I always think of that little fucking Asian face with an Indiana Jones hat!
Okay, alright. Okay, so we're getting somewhere, right?
No!
Okay. Just pretend that Richard Gere died instead of Roger Ebert.
But I didn't really like Roger Ebert that much.
You're all that I wanted of a girl. You're all that I need in the world. I'm your child, make me blush, drive me wild. Suzanne, you're all that I wanted.
You know, there's gonna be some people who are just gonna, like, watch this, and they're gonna be like, oh, he didn't like Roger Ebert? Well, you shouldn't be taken seriously as a film critic then, you poser. And like, shut up, Joseph Akers. Put your hearing aid back on, you crazy fuck. Fuck it! I hated this movie. Every single second of this raw... Hated this movie. Welcome to my review of Evil Dead, directed by Fede Alvarez, starring Jane Levy, Shiloh Fernandez, and Lou Taylor Pucci, and two really terrible actresses. Yes, this is the remake, of course, of the 1981 classic Sam Raimi film, and it's also produced by Sam Raimi, this movie, and Bruce Campbell, and this movie is terrible, and it should not be affiliated with the original 1981 classic. The 1981 classic is just such an awesome movie. It's the movie that pretty much opened the gates to a lot of these, like, familiar horror movies that we're used to, which in some cases is good, some cases is bad. But this movie's awful. It doesn't know what it wants to be. It's not scary. Just because it's bloody does not make it scary. Just because it's sadistic, it's just sadistic. Alright? If you're going to make a sadistic movie, have a movie with a good script or a self-aware script at the least. Alright? Because this movie wasn't intentionally funny. I know some people have told me that their theaters laughed a lot because they enjoyed it and they clapped at the end. And I'm like, those people weren't laughing at it. They were laughing... They thought they were laughing with it because it was ironic, and that's what people expect from this Evil Dead remake, and I think if you go into it like that, I think you're just in denial, because it's not a movie like that. It isn't a horror comedy at all. It's an unintentional horror comedy, and there's many times in this movie I laughed unintentionally because the dialogue was just terrible. This movie was just fucking terrible. Like, awful. 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 The acting in this film, the main kid, Shiloh Fernandez, I don't think he was that bad. I thought his dialogue was awful most of the time. And I thought, like, the character decisions that he made were terrible. But other than that, I didn't think he was the worst. Lou Taylor Pucci was the best thing about this movie. I mean, he's the character, his character really starts all of this bullshit. And at the same time, he's the most likable person in the movie, even though the character really isn't likable, but he is. And I think he gave a good performance in this film. The two girls that I didn't care about, the blonde chick, who was just a terrible actress on her own, and the black chick, she was like a nurse, and what kind of a nurse gets thrown up on, and when she's cleaning herself up, she gets a needle out of the medicine cabinet, and then doesn't wash her hands? I'm looking too into it. But with a movie like this, you can't really help but do that, because it's just so dumb, it's terribly written, the characters aren't even characters, they're just there, and you're like, oh, they're just gonna get killed. You see, just hold on a second. Hold your little balls, okay? Hold your little nuggets, alright? This movie right here, The Cabin in the Woods, this is a movie that makes me hate all other horror movies, alright? Yeah. Call me whatever you want, I don't care. The Cabin in the Woods was a genius film. And it came out around the same time last year as this film did this year. And The Cabin in the Woods was just freaking hysterical. And it was a comedy. And it was actually freaking creepy and scary, and you cared about the characters. Yes, the characters in this film weren't fully developed, but with great screenwriters like Drew Goddard and Joss Whedon, they felt completely fleshed out as much as they needed to be. These characters here, it's like the only thing we know about them is that they were old friends and that Jane Levy is like a heroin addict. Like, her being a heroin addict is barely talked about in this movie. And Jane Levy in this movie is awful. Like, I thought she was terrible in Fun Size, but she was worse. She was worse in this movie, oh my god. And I'm just gonna say, someone turns into Bruce Campbell near the end. Yes, someone becomes, I guess you could say, the new Ash. And they're terrible. It could be anybody I just talked about, obviously. Their body language acting sucked. I don't know if that's the correct term, but I don't care. That's what was so great about Bruce Campbell's performance in the original film. Like, his performance was just so subtle, and his facial expressions were really, just really, really good. And just they had like an emotional impact, and you cared about his character and what his character made as a decision. Because all the decisions he made in that film were just logical. And every decision in this movie was just awful. Like, everyone, like, how many times did this movie have to have, like, one of the demons turn back to normal? Apparently turn back to normal. And then one of the characters are like, oh, I love you, I'm so glad you're back. And then the monsters go and like, I'm not back, you're a stupid fuck. Ugh. It's like so many times in this movie that happens. And I'm like, how many fucking times can you do that? Diablo Cody co-wrote this film. I thought originally she was just going to be the one just writing the script. And personally, I don't blame the script on her. I blame the script on this other guy who wrote it, and Fede Alvarez, who I really hate Fede Alvarez. This movie takes itself completely seriously until like the last 20 minutes where it's like, hey, you remember that thing from the original? Remember that thing from the original? She's wearing the same Michigan State sweater as she did in the original. Oh! Like, who cares? Who freaking cares? Alright? And this movie wasn't scary. I squirmed in my seat a lot, but not in a good way. Alright? I didn't enjoy this movie at all. Just because it's being sadistic, it's just sadistic. And it wasn't fun to look at. I don't see how you can have a fun time with this movie unless you're just a complete, like, Jeffrey Dahmer Jr. Because, like, unless you like chopping bodies up, I don't really see how you would like, have a fun time while watching this movie. I know a lot of people are just expecting it to just be like the original, and since it has Sam Raimi's name, it's going to have that horror comedy, entertainment level on it, and it doesn't, and it just pisses me off so much. This movie it made no sense. The last 20 minutes were probably my least favorite. And I know everyone, like, across the board just loved the last 20 minutes. I didn't. Because it still wasn't entertaining. I didn't give a shit about any of the characters. I barely knew any of the characters because they were just written so poorly. And I just didn't give a shit. And the last shot didn't make any sense. The whole thing with Jane Levy near the end didn't make any sense at all. You'll get what I mean if you see this terrible piece of filmmaking. It's awful. I give this movie a very low 1.5 out of 10, only because of Lou Taylor Pucci. If Lou Taylor Pucci had nothing to do with this movie, this would be a 1, like a strong 1. Yeah, but I would be completely surprised if this doesn't make my top 10 worst of this year.